Back in training now after the playoff eliminator. Obviously, how have all the lads been looking after they've had a bit of a competitive game in their legs?
Yeah, looking good. Obviously, we give them a couple of days off after the game, just get that recovery in. And they've all came back looking good. Everyone's sort of refocused. I think it would be an easy thing to do after you have such a build up for a big game like that, is to sort of take your guard down and drop your focus. But the lads have been brilliant since they've come back in. We're fully back on it, really concentrating and just looking forward to Saturday now.
How do you think the transition was from playing obviously friendlies and playing bits of stuff in training to then going into a game like the playoffs, even if there obviously was no fans there as well?
Yeah, there's not really a comparison. You play your friendlies and stuff, but then when it comes to a competitive game, normally you still feel a little like a yard off or so until you sort of get into the season. But to go straight from having nothing, maybe just a one friendly, to going into them playing a playoff game where emotion's so high, your energy's drained just off the emotion before the game, really. So the lads done unbelievable, knowing how difficult it was for them to go into that. But hats off to them. They've looked after themselves. We've asked them to look after themselves away from the training ground as well, and they've done that. They've ate right. They've kept hydrated. They've done all the recovery stuff. So it's credit to them. They've been really good professionals throughout it all.
How important was it, obviously, for you that after the high of Sunday that you had to kind of bring the lads down a bit to focus on Saturday and not ride that for too long?
Yeah, well, we were brought back down straight after the game. Mike was made it clear that nothing was really won. Obviously, we got a little bit excited and a little bit sort of emotions were high because I think it was the magnitude of one on penalties. Obviously, they just needed to score to win. So the fact we did win on penalties, everyone did get a little bit excited, but we're fully aware that nothing was won. It was just another round down. So it was important that we got the lads grounded straight away, and we made sure that the minds are on the task ahead and no one's thinking ahead of anything else. We're just fully concentrated now on this game, and if we come out of these playoffs and we don't win them, then nothing's been achieved. So we'll only sort of let ourselves get carried away a little bit if we do end up winning them.
And of course, Boston up next on Saturday, finished third in the league, but you did manage to get the better of them at home and away during the season. Do you take any kind of confidence from that at all, or do you just see this as fully a one-off and that they're pretty much irrelevant at this point?
Yeah, it's a one-off game. The two previous games mean absolutely nothing. If you watch the games back, obviously the home game we had like a 15-minute spell where we scored 3 goals, and then down there we performed really well, and we'll be looking to do that again, but we certainly won't be thinking that it's going to be an easy task or anything like that, because we've beat them twice. We're fully aware that they are one of the best teams in the league. I've watched them a few times. Went to watch them against Spennymoor. They're a very good side. They move the ball really well. They've got a good structure. They're very well organised, and they go into the game favourites, and rightly so. They finished third, So we're just looking to go down there and work as hard as we possibly can, give everything we've got, leave nothing down there, and try and get the club through the next round.
And their manager earlier in the week sort of mentioned that he feels you potentially have a slight advantage having had a game, whereas they've only been in friendlies and training. Is that something you agree with, or are you not taking that into account at all?
I think there's pros and cons. He's certainly got a point by saying that it is a little bit of an advantage that we have had a game, because we've experienced, and now we've got that little bit match fitness. But on the flip side of it, we've also got the niggles and the stiffness that comes with having a game. So whereas this week they probably were able to go quite hard in training, we've had to take our foot off the gas, and it's purely just been recovery and making sure the lads are fresh for Saturday. So I totally understand his point, and I do agree with him to a certain extent. But there's other sides of it where they're at an advantage because they're going into this game totally fresh, whereas we're still a little bit stiff from the weekend.
You've had the sort of the underdogs label thrown at you from a few angles since the start of the playoffs, and going into this game no different. Obviously Boston finished third and ended up finishing 7th with points per game in the end. Is that something that maybe gives some of the lads a bit of extra motivation to prove people wrong in a sense?
Yeah, well, I think everyone takes it differently, don't you? You get some people who thrive on being the favourite and enjoy that pressure, and you get some people who thrive on proving people wrong and being the underdog. Personally, I think that this club feels like we're always the underdogs. We never seem to go into anything favourites, and I don't mind it either way, to be honest. The way I look at it, it's 90 minutes, it's 11v11, and we'll give it everything we can to win the game. So whether we go in there as underdogs or favourites, none of that makes a difference. As soon as that whistle goes, all that's gone out the window. So do I enjoy being underdog a little bit? But then sometimes I also enjoy being the favourites as well, because that gives you a confidence boost as well. So again, there's pros and cons for both, really.
And just in terms of the squad, how's everyone looking after last Sunday in terms of fitness and injuries, that kind of thing?
Yeah, everyone's okay. You know, it took a lot out of them on Saturday. As I said before, the emotion, the fact that was our first 90 minutes. So we've just really this week just had to work on recovery more than anything else, making sure lads are okay. But all the boys are fit, all the boys are available, and we've still got sort of 48 hours until the game. So we've still got 48 hours to recovery to get in them and make sure that everyone's ready. And it's the mental side as well. As I said earlier, we just have to make sure that we maintain that focus is the big thing for me, because if you come away from that and you start thinking about other things, I think that's when you could be in trouble. So we need to make sure that we're really focused, and we take this game against Boston like it's the only game in the world ever. So and that's what we will be doing.